Okay, let's get into part 2 of the Luigi Mangione Federal Charges and then talk about what all this means. I'm Eliza Orland's career public defender for 15 years in Manhattan. Let's get into it. Starting from where we left off, the notebook contains several handwritten pages that express hostility towards the health insurance industry and wealthy executives in particular. For example, the notebook contained the following statements in entries that appeared to correspond to particular dates. In an entry marked as 8/15, August 15th, 2024, the notebook described how, quote, the details are finally coming together and, quote, I'm glad in a way that I've procrastinated because it allowed me to learn more about acronym for Company One. The notebook entry also stated that the target is insurance because it checks every box. In an entry marked 10/22, October 22nd, 2024, the notebook stated 1.5 months. The investor conference is a true windfall, and most importantly, the message becomes self-evident. Later on in the entry, the notebook describes an intent to whack the CEO of one of the insurance companies at its investor conference. As described above, October 22nd, 2024 was approximately 6 weeks before the date of the murder of the victim, which occurred on the date of Company One's investor conference. D, the Fed's letter recovered from Mangione stated, I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial. Some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, CAD, a lot of patience. Based on my own research, I believe that CAD refers to computer-aided design. The Fed's letter also stated, P.S., you can check serial numbers to verify this is all self-funded, my own ATM withdrawals. 9, based on the above and my review of photographs of the shooter and my review of the arrest photographs of Luigi Nicholas Mangione, the defendant, I respectfully submit that Mangione is the shooter who shot and killed the victim on December 4th, 2024. Additionally, the notebook entries the Fed's letter, the shooter's apparent surveillance of the Midtown Hotel on November 24th and December 4th, 2024, and the shooter's use of counter-surveillance techniques and escape from New York City all suggest that the shooter undertook extensive efforts to identify the victim, place the victim under surveillance, and track the victim's whereabouts in the time period leading up to the murder. Below are surveillance stills of the shooter and an arrest photograph of Mangione. On the left, arrest photograph of Mangione. On the right, the shooter at the hostel. And finally, the shooter inside the taxi. Wherefore, I request that a warrant be issued for the arrest of Luigi Nicholas Mangione, the defendant, and that he be imprisoned or bailed as the case may be. And it's signed Gary Cobb, Special Agent FBI, and sworn to the Honorable Magistrate Judge of the Southern District of New York, Catherine H. Parker. There are a few things to note about the federal charges. The first being that the one count that he's charged with, which is the using a firearm to commit murder, carries a maximum penalty of life in prison or the death penalty. Furthermore, based on the charges, it sounds like Judge Parker ruled that Luigi will not have any amount of bail set. He's remanded, he's not eligible for release, so he will remain incarcerated until, at the very least, his next court appearance, but probably well beyond that. Are pursuing these charges on different theories of the case. So the federal charges arise from interstate stalking and then murder versus the murder for furtherance of terrorism under the state charges. But it sounds like the feds are going to let the state case proceed first and basically serve as a backstop to make sure that they garner a conviction if for some reason he's able to be acquitted on the state case. Anyhow, let me know if you have more specific questions about this case or any others. I'm happy to answer them, and make sure you're following along because I will certainly be providing updates. Thanks for being here.